G'day Bomber fans, hope you have enjoyed the week in the top 8, but don't get up just yet. Keep that seat nice and warm because we have a great chance to get nice and comfy and cement our spot there. We have North Melbourne, who are second to last on the ladder without a coach. This is a game we should be winning and comfortably if we want to make finals, that is. Before I get into this preview, subscribe to the channel. We have almost hit 1,000 subscribers, I believe. I post 2 to 3 times a week and should even have a video recapping the mid-season draft out tomorrow, hopefully. If not, then maybe Friday, and also some votes to get through. For the second straight week, you guys and me have gone with the exact same votes. I went with Martin, Merritt and Redman, and so did you guys. We are on the same track, giving love to the same players. Merritt has taken a healthy-ish lead with Redman moving into second place. Martin moves into the top 10. We have a few players still in the mix. It is anybody's game still, so keep up the votes. So Essendon v North. This is a fixture us fans usually look at with a grin. We just win these games. We have for our whole existence been the older brother to North. We obviously stopped them coming into the league earlier than they would have liked in the early 1900s, and we have a one-sided rivalry that is built mainly from their hatred of us, but we still like to beat this team, and luckily we often do. We have won our last 8 games against the Kangaroos, and very easily as well. As I often say, history doesn't matter though, and proof of that is the Dreamtime streak-breaking game. It's only current form that matters, and current form suggests, well, it suggests North are the second worst team in the comp, doesn't it? They're lucky that the Eagles are around, because without them they would be last. They had a hot start under Clarko, but haven't managed a win since round 2, while we have won our last 2 matches and sit in the top 8. I should say though, North in recent weeks have been competitive. They look better than they did under Clarkson, which is strange. They should have beaten Sydney a fortnight ago, and last weekend they were competitive against the ladder-leading Magpies, so we cannot take this game lightly as we did against the Eagles. I think if we played the game the way we did against the Eagles when we take on North this weekend, it would be a struggle. This actually has danger game written all over it, if I'm being honest, because North are not as bad a team as West Coast, not even close. I think if we play at our best or remotely close to it, there is no chance for the Kangas, but if we slip up, it's game on. So like I said with West Coast, we need to be on the money, play as if we're playing Collingwood. I think something important here will be a fast start, kill their hopes early, because North are one of the very worst first half teams in the comp. In fact, of the 22 quarters they have played this year in first halves, they have won just 4. We have won 3 times that amount and have had a much harder draw than them, so this is a game that can be killed early if we are on, that is. And it is at Marvel, which is our favourite stadium to play at. We are electric there. Quick side note, I only found out this watching the VFL game on the weekend. We actually train on Marvel dimensions at the hangar, and our second oval at the hangar there is MCG dimensions. We actually move from oval to oval depending on where we play for the week, so that is a little fun fact I didn't really know until recently. And an issue for North is we are getting players back. We welcomed back Guelphy and Laverty from injury. We should welcome back Dylan Shield this week. We should welcome back Jake Kelly soon, and maybe even Peter Wright. So we're getting to the stage where we are a couple of weeks off being full strength. There really aren't excuses for losing this game if we're being honest. So because there aren't any excuses, how do we win this game of footy? Well, we do not come into the game complacent. I think there were signs of that against West Coast. I think we had some gears left to get into. I would love a better showing, a more ruthless showing against North without all the stresses of watching a lower positioned matchup. We are a much better side defensively, and they are a very poor side in attack. They do have firepower with Nick Larkey and Cam Zerha, but the ball is barely down there. They average the second least inside 50s per game, and we average the most rebound 50s per game. So that shows that we can keep them to a pretty low score if we want, like we did against the Eagles. Our midfield is undersized right now, but we should still be able to compete with theirs, if not beat it. We are missing Parrish, Setterfield, and maybe Shield. They have no LDU, so neither team are full strength, and neither team are that clinical through the guts anyway. We are a horrible team in terms of clearances right now, unfortunately, so if we at least nullify the impact their best players have through the guts, it will go a long way. We cannot afford an Anzac Day last quarter kind of effort. And although North aren't the lowest scoring team in the league, they actually average the least shots on goal. We average the 6th most, and what that tells you is that you need to be clinical in front of the sticks, which we weren't against the Eagles. That way you can avoid situations like we saw with Carlton, who only had 1 less scoring shot than Sydney on the weekend, but lost by 26 points. We do not want to be keeping North in the game with bad kicking, especially if they are converting with the limited chances they get. And speaking of efficiency, we just need to keep doing what we're doing in that regard around the ground. North Melbourne, are a really messy team when they go by foot. They actually have the second least kicks in the comp as well. We are in the top 5, so we will have much more of the ball well, and we will most likely use it better. If there are no hiccups, we should find avenues to goals like we have all year. We don't rely on one forward like they do. We have many players who can pop up for goals. Our 3 highest goal kickers make up approximately 34% of the goals the team has scored this season. It sounds like a lot, but compare that to North, whose 3 highest goal scorers make up 57% of goals scored this season. Larkey himself makes up 28%, not far off our figure for our top 3. So if we can shut down Larkey, Stevenson and Zerha, they are in real trouble. Now is probably a good time to talk about individuals we need to worry about, because their system isn't really enough to warrant a concern. I think what North have that West Coast don't are certain players that can control the game though, starting with, of course, Nick Larkey, who will probably get on top of BZT and or Laverty. He is the big worry for me. He has 28 marks inside 50 for the season, the 8th most in the comp, so that is a worry. I think we should be worried about the trio of Jai Simpkin, Ben Cunnington and even George Wardlaw. They all average around 5 clearances a game and all average more than Zach Merritt, who of the players that will be playing for us averages the most, so they have a big advantage there. I think Zeeble and Sheasel in defense will be annoying. We need to supply lots of forward pressure, so their rebounds aren't as easy as it was for West Coast at times on Saturday night. I hope we don't see them waltz it out of there, because that will be ultra frustrating. And they obviously have some good lockdown defenders, but their defense is pretty tall compared to our forward line at least, so that is something that we need to take advantage of. We saw Snelling, Hobbs and Menzies have a huge impact on the ground last week, so maybe some more can get in on the act. And possible team news for us, it should look quite different, I hope. I think Brian and Waller will come under selection pressure, especially with Shield close to a return. Kelly is, I don't know what's happening with him. He's had some concussion symptoms, so we don't know how long he will be. Phillips and Davey were rested, so it's a tough squad to pick from if we're being honest. Do you bring back Phillips? Do you bring back Davey? Especially because Peter Wright is supposedly close to a return as well. We don't want to change things around too much, but we want to be close to our best team. And for them, Perez and Tucker should be fit, but no real stars banging the door down for selection. Maybe Taron Thomas soon. Aside from that, I'm not too sure. So who will win this game of footy? We probably will. I think it would take an almighty slip up for us to lose this game. I am less confident than I was against the Eagles, but I still think we get the job done, I will say, by 35 points, hopefully more though. So that is another pretty simple preview done. Now it is time for a quick word from Manscaped. Bomber fans, if you want to get your body in order, groomed and all, and for a very good price, head over to manscaped.com, put whatever you want in your cart and enter in the discount code EverythingEssendon20. You will save 20% off plus free shipping. Cheers, Bomber fans.